Welcome to the 12 Report with Blessings Musugu, and these are the headlines. NLC begins national protest over surging violence. Farouk dismisses corruption claims as wild and spurious. South Africa to expel Kenyans working on applications. We have our reporters stationed in different parts of the country and beyond. Afia Hagen is on standby in London. Bongani Siziba is live in Joburg, South Africa. Emmanuel Bagudu joins from Kano. Austin Azu joins from Delta. Chizoba Anyowe is in Plateau State, while Israel Ifarobo joins live from Lagos. We've got the details in a moment. The Nigerian Labour Congress has kicked off nationwide protest over the rising wave of insecurity across the country. Labour leaders and members gathered in state capitals condemning persistent banditry, kidnappings and killings, which they say have continued unchecked. In Abuja, NLC President Joe Ajaero led the protest at the federal capital, joined by civil society groups including Omoyele Sowore and members of the Revolution Now movement. Security operatives, including police, civil defense and DSS personnel, were deployed around protest venues to maintain order. The NLC says the demonstrations are aimed at compelling the federal government to take decisive and sustained action to end insecurity nationwide. And of course, we have other reports from different parts of the country regarding the NLC protest, asking for an end to the level of insecurity that we're experiencing right now in the country. We have News Central's Austin Azu joining us live to give us an update. Austin, if you can hear me, where are you currently and what is the situation with the protests? What exactly are they demanding from the government? All right, let me reconfirm if Austin can hear me. All right, Austin, I'm just trying to find out what the situation is, where you currently are, and what the situation is with the protest. What exactly are they demanding from the government?
All right, earlier on, the NLC in Delta State, in compliance with the national, converged at the Labour House, and thereafter they proceeded onward movements to Government House. And currently, where they are now, they are at Government House currently, and they are waiting for the arrival of the governor. And they have been here for quite some time now, over 30 minutes, and they were told that the governor is coming to address them. But however, they are still waiting. They insisted that they must wait to see the arrival of the governor. They present their papers to the governor. But meanwhile, we'll have some of the members here to tell us precisely what is keeping them. All right, we'll have the Secretary of NLC in Delta State, Acrobat. Okay, Acrobat, tell us where we are right now. You are live on News Central. Tell us where we are right now, the stage we are currently.
Where we are currently is that we are waiting for the governor to address us. We are his people. He should be able to address us as the father of the state, because we are not secure in our homes. We are on the road, we are not secure. And then we go to the market, we are not secure. We want to be secure, so we want the governor to address us.
All right. Okay, we just have the representative of the governor, the chief of staff, to address the workforce here in the state here. And back to your Blessing, so that we'll be able to hear what the governor has to tell the labor workers here in the state.
All right, Austin Azu, there with the update on the NLC protest, definitely keeping us up to date from his own side. I want to confirm if we have Emmanuel Bagudu to do the same. Emmanuel Bagudu, if you can hear me, where are you currently and what is the situation where you are?
Yes, thank you so much. It was a very short protest, not too long. Of course, they were so conscious of the security situation in Kano. So the NLC walked within a short distance from the state library to the front of the government house, where, of course, those videos sent to you, they are received by the chief of staff of Governor Abu Kabir Yusuf, Mr. Wali, who actually promised them that all the issues will be addressed. And most of the issues they presented were the latest alleged terrorist incursion for neighboring states, where they are calling for collaborations between the Kano state government and the neighboring states, that there has to be border collaboration to avoid terrorists who are migrating from the Sahel coming to take shelter in the state. Okay.
Okay, and has there been any response regarding that from the appropriate authorities?
Yes, the governor will be represented by the chief of staff. He will receive a letter from the NLC in Abuja. There's NLC national office in Abuja. And of course, the address was given by Comrade, of course, Kabiru Ilinua, who is the chairman NLC in Kano, who made it clear that, of course, they didn't want to have the protest, but of course, due to the urgency, the need to address the urgent security needs in Kano, they have to, the governor have to, respond. But so the chief of staff actually responded by saying that all is in place, and of course, there are ongoing plans, there are ongoing, rejig of the security architecture of the state, and that the governor is going to, look at all their petitions, all their submissions, their letters, and is going to respond to them, in due time. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Bagudu, for the update on that as well. The NLC protest is still ongoing. And in Lagos, the Nigerian Labour Congress, together with civil society organizations today, are staging a protest against rising insecurity across the country. The group of protesters marched through Allen Avenue from Ikeja on the bridge all the way to the Lagos State House of Assembly to press home their demands for an end to insecurity in the country.
Out of their homes and go to their places of work or where they ply their trade. People are afraid. Some people that their hobby is traveling. They have not struck it off from their hobby. You are afraid. You don't know whether as you are moving out of your home, you are returning back to one piece. You are afraid of kidnapping. You are afraid of ritual killing. You are just afraid. And the work of the government, they take an oath. The oath is to protect lives and property. So we want to use this to be a wake-up call to those who are the leaders in the country to wake up to their responsibility of securing lives and property. This is December. Many people want to travel to village to go and celebrate Christmas, but they are afraid to move.
Well, as we've seen, the NLC protest seems to be nationwide, and we have reporters stationed in different parts of the country to give us an update on that. Speaking of which, we have News Central's Chizoba Aniowe in Plateau State to tell us more about how the protest is going in Jos, I believe, the capital city. Chizoba, what is the situation with the protest? How is that going? And what specific region are you at right now? All right, unfortunately, we're unable to hear Chizoba at this time, but we'll definitely circle back to her as soon as we're able to establish connections. Earlier on, President Bola Tinubu held a late-night closed-door meeting with leaders of the Nigeria Labour Congress at the State House in Abuja. And amid plans by the union to embark on a nationwide protest over rising insecurity across the country. The meeting, which took place on Tuesday night, was attended by the chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum and Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma, Edo State Governor Monday Okpebholo, Kebbi State Governor Nasir Idris, as well as the Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Nkiruka Onyejocha. Now, while the Labour delegation was led by NLC President Comrade Joe Ajaero. The meeting comes just a day before the NLC's scheduled mass action, despite the union's earlier insistence that there would be no going back on the protest.
We came for consultation with the president and we have finished. So we'll have to go back to our meeting and then continue tomorrow. By tomorrow, we will get the outcome. If I'm insisting or I'm not insisting, I will communicate to you. It's not an organization that one person rules. Let's go back. Now you have a meeting of Labour and the Governors Forum. We'll go back to the drawing board and digest all that Mr. President said to us and move forward from there.
Citizens who are also members of NLC wanted to see Mr. President, and they've seen Mr. President. And of course, they are happy.
All right, still on the protest, we'll go back now to Chizoba Aniowe in the Plateau State capital, Jos, where she currently is, to give us an update. Chizoba, you were trying to give us an update on the protest in Plateau State. Please go ahead.
All right, good afternoon, Blessing. Sorry, I was muted. So, like I was saying, this is the Plateau State House of Assembly, where the Labour members with their affiliates gathered a while ago. They just dispersed. I'm sure you could still see just a few members still leaving the premises of the Plateau State House of Assembly. Since morning, they've been out to express their displeasure with security situations in many parts of the country, if not all, especially in Plateau State, where there's been killings and all of those. Recently, the kidnapping of students in their schools. I mean, the children have not done any wrong going to school. Education is part of their civic rights, So this is a way that the labor leaders think that would drive home their demands by saying their minds to the government of the day, to the House of Assembly members. Of course, it's presented a letter to the Speaker, Honorable Daniel Nanlong, who just left the premises now, as well as the members. They've also left for the government house, where they think they will also meet with the state governor, Barrister Caleb Mutfwang, to speak with him on their demands, present their letters to which they said they would want him to present to the president. And that is a way of presenting their intentions to the president to, bring an end to all of these forms of insecurities in every part of the country so that people can move around, going about their normal businesses without fear of any molestation or anything like that. So they hope that at the end of the day, this move today would materialize into security in all parts of the country, where majorly these things are, on the rise. You talk about the northern part of the country, the northern central zone of the country. So these are all avenues they are trying to exercise to ensure that their voices are heard and justice is brought to the front burner by making sure that there is security and peace in the country.
All right, Chizoba Anyunwi there in the Plateau State capital, giving us an update on the NLC protest against insecurity. News Central's correspondent Israel Iferobo, who has been following the demonstrations, now also joins us for an update. Israel, can you confirm you can hear us? All right, Israel, if you can hear us, where are you at this moment, and what new information do you have regarding the NLC protest?
Oh, yes, indeed. Right now, the demonstration is still ongoing. The demonstrators have now converged here at the Lagos State House of Assembly, where moments ago they were addressed by members from the House of Assembly. And indeed, the NLC members and civil society groups that are organized here today, they've gone ahead now to tell them exactly why they are here, which is chief among all the reasons is the rising insecurity across Nigeria. They also spoke about the fact that Nigerians are hungry, and they went on and on with other demands as well, which the Lagos House of Assembly have said that they will address. But to also look at this particular issue and tell us and give us more insights on why today is the way it is, we have the NLC Lagos State representative here, Comrade Wilson, to speak to us here about these demonstrations. Comrade Wilson, thank you for talking to us. This is News Central TV. How do you feel that this demonstration has happened today?
Well, this is a nationwide protest. It's a protest to actually draw the attention of the government, the federal government, the state and the local government, the need to strengthen this security apparatus in this country, because a lot of people have been kidnapped, banditry is going on, and we need to put a stop to it. So this is a time, though we'll be sending messages, but we decide to come out today. It's a nationwide thing that we have to tell the government that their own governance is actually meant to protect me and you and the properties of the nation. So we are a voice. Nigeria Labour Congress came out today with the civil society group and with those all concerned Nigerians to come out and express our displeasure and the state of insecurity in this country. A lot of people can't travel at this time of the year. Lagos will be empty. Other cities will be empty. People are traveling to their own villages. But today, nobody travels because you are afraid. We are all afraid. So we are all concerned. It is not about the workers alone. It is equally the workers and Nigerians. So this is a protest. It's a peaceful protest. We want to express to the government that this is not good enough. And enough is enough of this spate of banditry, herdsmen and farmers crisis, and all those issues that beguile this country. And we need to speak out. If we don't speak out, we will die in silence.
Don't you think that the government right now is doing all it can to combat insecurity across the country?
Well, whatever they are doing now, those are the things they told us that they have been doing. So, but we want to re-emphasize that there is a need to do more. Whatever you think you're doing is not enough. And if care is not taken, people will take laws into their hands, because Nigerians are not happy. So they should curb this insecurity in this country. Banditry should stop. Kidnapping should stop. That is where we stand.
We also see that amongst the issue of rising insecurity, the NLC and other stakeholders gathered here today, they've also listed some other demands as well. Talk to us about that.
Well, it is actually warriors. We are talking about the security. If you talk about the security, you look at probably economic empowerment of even the persons that are involved. If an unemployed person, unemployment is a crisis. So if you are not employed, then the devil will give you work to do.
So talk to us now. So after today, now that the state government, the Lagos Assembly members have been out here today, they've said that they will convey your message, to the leadership of the House. And what do you say to that? What happens afterwards?
Yes, we have sent the message. We have put them where they are told to work. If they refuse to work, we'll come back larger and stronger than this. This is just a message. So it is not just Lagos State, it is a nationwide protest. It is a protest, you can see how organized we are. So we are not disorganized. We represent an organization, a legal organization. So we speak with constitutional authority. So therefore, we wait. All the state governors are aware of this protest. Let us wait and see. Then we go back to our trenches, or do we go back to our offices? Those are the two things.
Well, thank you so much, Comrade Wilson Onomeliase. He is the Lagos State Sub-Secretariat chairman here in the state. Well, that's exactly what the issue is here now. They've listed their demands. The authorities here at the Lagos State House Assembly, they've come out, they've received their letter, and we are waiting to see what outcome will come out of this demonstration against rising insecurity across the country, here particularly in Lagos State. It is back to you in the studios.
All right, that was Israel Ifarobo giving us an update on the protest against rising insecurity right here in Lagos, Nigeria. And of course, we did say that we have our correspondents stationed across the nation to give us more updates, particularly about the protest. But we'll be going on a short break. When we come back, we have Joshua Imarayo on standby regarding the same topic. Do stay with us. Joshua, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon, Blessings. I can hear you. It's really hot here, Blessings. I'm sweating.
Oh, sorry. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, for more on the NLC protest against rising insecurity, we now cross over to our correspondent, Joshua Imarayi, who is at the Labour House as we speak. Joshua Imarayi, what is the situation at the Labour House and what has the protest been like?
Well, good afternoon to you, Blessings. I am live at the national headquarters of the Nigerian Labour Congress, where earlier some members of the organized labour gathered here on mass, ready to protest. Well, some of the leaders of the Nigerian Labour Congress actually briefed the members gathered here, and they took a brief walk around this area, particularly to the Ministry of Finance Junction and back. This was escorted. This part was escorted by members of the Nigerian security forces, particularly the Nigerian police and the officers of the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps, as well as Department of State Services. But what you see behind me are some of the members of the Nigerian Labour Congress who are remaining here. Some of the leaders came on and told some of the members who are waiting here that the national leaders are currently in a meeting with the Nigerian Governors Forum, and they thought the meeting would be some sort of a short meeting, but however the meeting is actually spanning more than hours than they predicted. So they told some of the members that it will actually be a waste of time waiting here when they know that this meeting can stop at any time, maybe at night. So that is why they told some of these members to maybe go back and rest, and further information will be communicated after the meeting. But what we are seeing here is a couple of members of the Nigerian Labour Congress who are stationed here waiting for the nearest directive from the national leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress. Blessings.
All right, Joshua, for how long would you say that this has been going on, and what do you think a resolution is looking like? What kind of response are we expecting?
We gathered from members of the Nigerian Labour Congress that they have been here from the early hours of 8 o'clock today, and they have camped here waiting for the nearest directive. But we understand that the national leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress have gone in that meeting with the Nigerian Labour Congress for nothing less than maybe 4 hours, particularly from the hours of 8 o'clock. But we are still waiting. Maybe they are still in talks. But anything that will be communicated from that meeting, of course, News Central will be on top of the beat to bring the latest developments as regards the situation. Blessings.
Most definitely, Joshua Imarayi there. And just like he said, News Central will be at the top of the situation to give you an up-to-date information as it unfolds. Now, the Chief Executive of Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Ahmed Farouk, has rejected corruption allegations made by Dangote Group Chairman Aliko Dangote, describing them as wild, spurious, and unfounded. Farouk, in a personal disclaimer, said he did not authorize any earlier response to the allegations and has chosen to await a formal investigation rather than engage in a public war of words. Now, Dangote had accused the NMDPRA boss of economic sabotage, claiming regulatory actions were frustrating local refining efforts. The dispute dates back to July 2024, when Farouk questioned the quality of products from the Dangote refinery compared to imported fuel. Dangote later countered the claims, presenting independent test results during a visit by lawmakers. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations says it is taking deliberate steps to strengthen agricultural value chains in Nigeria, in line with its mandate to promote food security and sustainable livelihoods. The global body, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, made this known at a Red Meat Initiative and Coconut Value Chain Forum held in Lagos on Tuesday. News Central's Victor Mbadike reports.
The agricultural sector in Nigeria is no doubt faced with its own troubles and challenges, ranging from low productivity and inadequate infrastructure to limited access to finance and the impact of climate change.
Agriculture and food systems.
This forum in Lagos brought together stakeholders to focus on two specific areas critical for local produce: the red meat and coconut value chains, in a bid to unlock their full potentials.
The essence is to drive investment within the sector,
government has provided the infrastructure and the institutional frameworks for the growth of the sector. So now it's unlock financing also. So we are here today speaking to investors at this round table as to the opportunities that are available in the red meat and coconut value chains of the state, so as to promote the growth of the business, develop businesses, establish slaughterhouses, abattoirs, establish and grow our feedlot production systems to ensure that the state becomes to some extent self-reliant in cattle and red meat supply in the state, and of course also coconut production.
We intend that the outcome of this gathering will be that we will have some strong partnership with private sector players and also multilateral and also bilateral development partners who will commit to investing in this area.
Stakeholders, while highlighting its challenges, said low yields and a preference for imported nuts means Nigeria falls far short of meeting its own local and export demand.
A trailer load of coconut into Nigeria, to Badagry now, is about 96 million. To load the coconut, bring it to Nigeria from Ghana, Togo, Benin, and the rest of them, is that not a huge economy taken out?
We have trees as old as 100 years. What do you expect to get from such trees? So we should have massive cultivation of coconuts. Let's have coconut plantations. And the soil and environment favors that.
Most of our abattoirs are being upgraded to minimum standard of international standard. We have mechanized line even in Okoba abattoir. The FAO is trying to show us that to establish a feedlot is a viable business.
They maintain that with the right policies and investment, Nigeria's farms could become engines of innovation, turning raw produce into wealth and opportunity for millions. In Lagos for News Central, Victor Mbadike.
We move now to legislative matters, where the Senate has approved the 2026-2028 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper, but with a significant adjustment to the crude oil price benchmark. Now, while the upper chamber retained most of the president's projections, it lowered the oil price benchmark for 2026 to $60 per barrel, citing global geopolitical tensions. The approval followed the adoption of the report by the Committee on Finance, setting the stage for the presentation of the 2026 appropriation bill. Presenting the report, Chairman of the Finance Committee, Senator Sani Musa, explained that the proposed oil price of $64.85 was considered too risky given the volatility in the Middle East and Europe. Consequently, the Senate approved a reduced benchmark of $60 per barrel for 2026, rising to $65 in 2027. However, the lawmakers sustained the crude oil production target at 1.84 million barrels per day and the exchange rate at 1,512 naira to the dollar.
The projected crude oil benchmark prices of 64.85, 64.30, and 65.50 US dollars per barrel for 2026, 2027, and 2028 respectively be reduced to $60 for 2026, $65 for 2027, and $70 for 2028. This is in recognition of the global geopolitical tensions in Europe and the Middle East and the sensitivity of global crude oil prices. The framework for revenue and expenses, the 2026 federal government budget proposed spending, which stands at 54.46 trillion, of which 34.33 trillion is federal government retail revenue. New borrowing stood at 17.88 trillion, which constitute both domestic and foreign borrowings. Debt service was valued at 15.52 trillion. Pensions, gratuities, and retirees' benefits stood at 1.376 trillion, and fiscal deficit at 20.13 trillion be sustained.
I think this has been a very patriotic move in order to allow for immediate free flow of the budget proposals for 2026 to be presented to us by Mr. President. I thank you all, and I hope that these projections may be realistic, should be realistic, will be realistic, shall be realistic, for the purpose of ensuring that the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President and the economic indices projected become.
In the Green Chambers, the House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts has issued until January the 26th for the Central Bank of Nigeria to conclude ongoing reconciliation with the Ministry of Finance and the Fiscal Responsibility Commission over alleged unremitted revenues into the Federation account. A chairman of the House Committee on Public Accounts, Bamidele Salam, gave the ultimatum after the CBN requested more time to appear before the committee following a resolution of the House on December the 10th to summon the Apex Bank's governor over discrepancies in unremitted funds. Now, speaking during the reconciliation process, the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, describes federal government revenue as central to governance, budgeting and public investment, noting that reconciliation between the fiscal and monetary authorities is a continuous process and acknowledged the need for a clear framework and timeline.
While the Director General's Office and the Fiscal Responsibility Commission have been involved in the reconciliation, CBN and Ministry of Finance, of course, as the principal parties, as it were. And we will be expecting that the result of that reconciliation will be made available before the next hearing of this matter. And we are thinking of giving 26th of January for the return date. We will communicate the CBN, and we expect that the CBN governor in person should be in attendance, not represented.
The reconciliation that the central bank just mentioned, that has always been their excuse from time immemorial. And I don't know how long the House is going to permit them to continue to use these delaying tactics. However, because this is the first time that this matter is appearing, I want to implore my colleague through the chairman to allow them, little time.
And when he talks about reconciliation, really, we must put it within the context of what the fiscal and the monetary side have been doing together. And I think the results in terms of the turnaround, I would say, of the Nigerian economy, including the metrics that came out yesterday showing lower, even further lowering of inflation, are part of this, what I would call general interaction, consultation, and working together.
Now, President Donald Trump on Tuesday signed a proclamation further restricting entry to the United States for nationals from countries deemed high risk due to demonstrated, persistent, and severe deficiencies in screening, vetting, and information sharing that threaten U.S. national security and public safety. Among the 15 additional countries newly subject to partial restrictions is Nigeria. Trump had earlier on October 31st declared Nigeria as a country of particular concern in response to allegations of a Christian genocide in the country. The proclamation continues 4 restrictions and entry limitations on nationals from the original 12 high-risk countries: Afghanistan, Burma, Chad, Republic of the Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. It also adds 4 restrictions and entry limitations on 5 additional countries, which are Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, South Sudan, and Syria. And to business now, Nigeria's federal government is likely to miss its 2025 revenue target by about 30 trillion naira. This is according to Finance Minister Wale Edun. Speaking at the House of Representatives during discussions on the 2026-2028 medium-term expenditure framework, Edu said projected revenues of 40.8 trillion naira may fall to about 10.7 trillion naira. He attributed the shortfall largely to weak oil and gas revenues, including poor performance of petroleum profit tax and company income tax. Despite the gap, Edu said key obligations such as salaries and debt servicing were met through prudent treasury management. Now, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, has reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to macroeconomic stability as authorities push ahead with wide-ranging economic reforms. The bank governor made the comment at the U.S.-Nigeria Executive Business Roundtable in Washington, D.C. Cardoso said the reform agenda is anchored on transparent markets, rules-based economic management, and predictable policies aimed at restoring investor confidence. He highlighted foreign exchange reforms, orthodox monetary policy, banking sector strengthening, and payment system modernization as key pillars supporting stability and private sector-led growth. Investors, according to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, are responding positively to greater policy clarity and discipline as Nigeria competes with other emerging markets for capital in a tight global financial environment. We're still talking business. Gold climbed towards $4,330 an ounce, approaching its October record of $4,381 as investors anticipated U.S. inflation data and monitored escalating tensions in Venezuela. Silver reached a new peak at $66.27, extending its strong rally. Geopolitical risks, central bank buying, and a cooling U.S. jobs market have fueled demand for safe haven assets. The U.S. Federal Reserve's rate decisions and the appointment of a new Fed chair remain key market drivers. Now, analysts predict gold could average $4,500 in 2026. Platinum and palladium also surged on news that the EU may ease emissions rules for new cars, boosting demand for catalytic converter metals. Global coal demand reached an all-time high of 8.85 billion metric tons in 2025. This has been driven by strong consumption in the U.S. and stable usage in China, according to the International Energy Agency, IEA. Despite this peak, demand is expected to plateau and gradually decline through 2030 as renewables, nuclear energy, and abundant natural gas increasingly replace coal in power generation. India saw a rare decline in coal use due to intense monsoons, boosting hydropower. China, the world's largest coal consumer, remains the main driver of global trends, with future demand sensitive to electricity growth and renewable adoption rates. You're still live with us on the news. We go on a short break now. When we come back, the 12 report continues. Do stay with us. Now to foreign stories. The news continues in Southern Africa, where South Africa says it will deport 7 Kenyan nationals accused of working illegally on a United States program offering refugee status to white Afrikaners. The South African Department of Home Affairs says the individuals were arrested for operating without valid permits and face immediate deportation, along with a 5-year ban from re-entering the country. Authorities say intelligence reports revealed visa abuse linked to the processing of applications under the controversial U.S. refugee initiative. In May, the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump announced plans to grant refugee status to white Afrikaners, claiming they face discrimination and what it described as genocide allegations the South African government has firmly rejected. Now, Pretoria insists the program undermines its sovereignty and misrepresents the country's post-apartheid realities. Meanwhile, the festive season is gathering momentum in South Africa, with Johannesburg already feeling the rush as holiday travel intensifies. Many residents are journeying to their hometowns to reunite with family and friends, placing increased pressure on long-distance routes linking major cities, provinces and neighboring countries. The transport hubs and taxi ranks are reporting heavy traffic, while authorities are urging travelers to remain vigilant and observe safety precautions throughout the busy period. Our correspondent Mongani Ziziba is on the ground in Johannesburg with the latest.
Yes, indeed, Christmas vibe is now all around here, and I'm here at the active cross-border bus rank. The activity is busy already, as you can see. Gauteng festive season is in full swing as this year winds down. This bustling hub is seeing a surge of travelers heading out of the city. Many of them, they are on their way to reunite with their loved ones during this Christmas season. For many, this is a special time of the year, a chance to escape the hustle, the bustle of the city life, to go and reconnect with families and friends and enjoy a well-earned break of a stressful year.
We're going home. We're going to KZN. I'm going to KZN. I don't know where you guys are going. I'm going to KZN, and it's fun. It's fun. We're gonna go there. We're gonna have fun. Come back in January. When we come back in January, we start over.
I am going home, and I'm looking forward to meeting family and going back to an environment that is not this hustling and buzzing of Johannesburg. And yeah, I mean, for me, home is the mountains. Home, it's the village. Home, it's breathing that very, very fresh air, and hopefully try and get a serene place to reflect on the year.
So I'm here at the bus rank here, where it's a Zimbabwean bus rank, where people are now going to their homes, taking the transport here. It's clear that for many, Christmas is more than just a holiday. It's a time for rest, reflection, and reconnecting with their loved ones. This busy scenes here is a testament of how important family is during this festive season. But also authorities are on high alert, making sure that the roads are smooth and the laws of the roads are followed properly. So as we see these travelers preparing their journey, everyone wish them safe travels and happy holidays.
We carry our people from here to Zimbabwe Bulawayo, but as for now it is not yet picked up. We are anticipating more customers from beginning from tomorrow up to the 24th.
So from me, Bongani Siziba in Johannesburg, it's now back to you in the studio.
Of Africa now, where Australia has held the first funeral for victims of the deadly Bondi Beach attack, as mourners gathered in Sydney to farewell Rabbi Eli Schlanger, a respected community leader killed in the violence. The service at the Chabad of Bondi synagogue drew heavy security and overflow crowds, underscoring the depth of grief across the city. The funeral comes days after two gunmen opened fire at a Jewish festival near Bondi Beach, killing 15 people and injuring several others. Police say one suspect survived the attack and has been charged with multiple counts of murder and terrorism, while the second attacker was shot dead during a confrontation with officers. For more on this, I'm joined by News Central's senior international correspondent and anchor, Afia Hagen. Afia, it was really a gory sight from some of the visuals that have been making the rounds across social media, and we've seen how even passers-by try to try to douse the situation, but unfortunately we still got scores of people dead and injured. What more can you tell us about what exactly happened that day? I think that was yesterday at Bondi Beach. What do we know so far about the shooting, the father and son duo?
It wasn't yesterday, it was Sunday. It took place the first day of Hanukkah on Bondi Beach in Australia. Two attackers opened fire where more than 1,000 people were celebrating that first day of Hanukkah, a Jewish holiday. Naveed Akram, one of the attackers who survived, it was a father and son duo. The son woke up from his coma yesterday and he has been charged with 59 offences, including a terror charge. These charges have been detailed to us. So committing a terrorist act, 14 counts of murder, 40 counts of causing wounding or grievous bodily harm to a person, discharging a firearm, causing a public display of a prohibited terrorist symbol that probably alludes to the IS flag that was found in their car. The father, 50-year-old Sajid, died at the scene of that mass shooting that took place on Sunday. Now, you did mention the funeral of Rabbi Eli Schleger. That has taken place already. More victims have been identified. There's Peter Meager, who worked as a freelance photographer at the event. A young 10-year-old girl called Matilda, described as a bright, joyful and spirited child. There was Alex Clayton, an 87-year-old Holocaust survivor that attended the event with his wife, his children and his grandchildren. So like you said, some really terrible stories from this absolutely shocking event that took place on Sunday on Bondi Beach.
So, so far, what has the response from the authorities been? Have the police given any indications about the suspected motive or the circumstances? I know that it's hard to find because one of the suspects did die during confrontation, but has the other surviving suspect, come forward to even talk about the motive in the first place?
Well, the second suspect has just woken up from that coma and been charged. We haven't heard anything from him yet. And of course, he hasn't made any appearances in court. But this is thought to be a terrorist attack. The Australian Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, when he gave his first address after this took place, of course, his focus was on the Jewish community in Australia and said, my message to Jewish Australians is that we stand with you as a nation. We embrace you at what is a terrible time. These anti-Semitic terrorist attacks will not be successful with their objective, which is to divide us as a nation. So this is being treated as a terrorist attack. But Australia is also planning to tighten their gun laws, planning to overhaul the country's gun laws. Anthony Albanese, the Prime Minister, saying the very nature of gun laws means they are only as strong as their weakest link. The new proposals would be a limited number of guns that someone can own and a review of gun licenses over a period of time.
All right, News Central's Afia Hagen, thank you so much for the update on that. And definitely News Central will be keeping tabs with the situation as it unfolds and, keeping the viewers in the know as well. Christmas season is here. And when it comes to movement, Nigerians are traveling in and out of the country and even across state. Now, some are returning from the diaspora to see family. That's what Nigerians call IJGBs, while others are simply trying to get from Lagos to Owerri, from Abuja to Port Harcourt, or from Benin to Enugu to eat rice, chicken, and reconnect with family. You see, travel is part of the season. But airfares are no longer what they used to be. Now, recently, a video surfaced online of a lady lamenting the cost of a 1-hour domestic flight, which was priced at 499,900 naira. So 500,000 naira for a 1-hour flight, local flight, not business class, not international, just 1 hour in the air. Now, the video struck a nerve because many Nigerians can actually relate. What used to be a 50,000 naira or 70,000 naira ticket now costs 200,000 naira, 300 or even more. You see, for families traveling together this Christmas, flying has quietly become luxury. Airlines cite rising aviation fuel costs, a weak naira, expensive maintenance, and dollar-denominated spare parts. These challenges are real, but Nigerians are asking a fair question. At what point does survival turn into opportunism? Because prices spike conveniently, especially during festive periods, and it's beginning to look like a norm. Demand rises, fares soar, passengers have no real alternatives. Road travel is now unsafe with the myriad of kidnappings we're having in recent time. Rail coverage is limited. Flying became the only option, and that option has suddenly felt like extortion. So, who regulates airfares in Nigeria? The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority is meant to oversee the industry. While the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission exists to protect consumers, yet as tickets climb higher, many wonder if anyone is actually watching. And that's your postscript. Anyways, before we go, let's take a look at what's happening in the sporting world. Super Eagles' preparations for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco received a boost as 11 players arrived camp. And Udoka Njoku is here to give us more.
Yeah, major boost for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, but they played a friendly game against Egypt yesterday, which they won, but the training sessions continue today, and they will travel from Egypt to Morocco first, to be precise, with the kick of their tournament. We'll give you more updates on In the Game shortly.
All right, you've heard it. Stay tuned for In the Games, but that's all on the 12 report today. And remember, you may send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV, channel 422, Go TV, channel 23, Star Times, channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Blessings Wasugu.